welcome to another episode of the Get At It Gaming Plus podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ben,
I'm Alex.
and we are a bi-weekly nerdy geeky podcast. Talk about everything from video games to anime to movies. Stuff that we like to talk about. And this week is going to be a big one because we have just had several big events happen.
Yeah.
Huge events. And normally we actually do. We talk about our hidden treasures and what we've been playing, but this is so much stuff that we just got to kind of jump into it.
Yeah.
It's crazy the amount of stuff with no E3 nowadays. I mean, E3 is gone. And I think between Games Fest and the Xbox Showcase and the Capcom and the Ubisoft, I think they just pretty much did E3. I think
Have you seen what they're calling it right now? Like a lot of people online, they write it at they say it's Key 3. So like Keigh, like Keigh 3.
Oh wow.
Cause like it really is. It's Jeff Keighley, Key 3. Like it
Yeah.
is E3, but with Jeff Keighley in charge and doing his Summer Games Fest, and everything is around Summer Games Fest now. So
I think if the E3 people would have listened to Jeff Keighley in the first place, we would still have E3. I mean, not making it open to the public. But I do think eventually it would have come to where it was at. They're like, oh well, people didn't want to spend the millions of dollars. If you watch that Xbox game, showcase, and even PlayStations, that was a lot of money.
mm-hmm.
I think it was still a lot of money, but Jeff did it right.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of jump into it. Now I have it pulled up here from IGN. Mr. Logan Plant is the one that wrote this. These are not in order. So before everyone jumps on me on this, because right away they talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming early 2024. This was at the end of the show. This was like, oh, that big surprise? Here it is. I think I saw more people react to this and totally flip out than I saw almost anything else. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
As it should. Super excited for this. I never finished.
You need to.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back. I've been putting off Crisis Core because I know the ending.
Crisis Core is so fast though as well.
Yeah.
Like Crisis Core was like a 10-hour game for me.
And I think I'm like at that halfway mark anyway, a little over halfway. So I'm going to probably go back and do this. It's actually downloading on my PlayStation now.
Mm-hmm.
But did you see this one coming at the very end of the show?
Yes, and that is only because Square Enix has been tweeting, and they've been tweeting like fact number 1 or answer number 1, answer number 2, answer number 3, and it kind of like aligned with Summer Games Fest. So I did expect an announcement. I didn't know where it was going to be. I knew it wasn't going to be Xbox because Square Enix and Xbox don't really like each other, it seems, for some weird reason. I think it's mostly because of Game Pass, honestly, is what it is. Because like Octopath isn't on there at all, like Octopath 2. But yeah, I expected this. I just didn't expect it here. It's really cool. It's really awesome. The last game plays a lot with expectation and differences. So like the previous game is a remake, but it's not a remake. It's very much its own thing. And being Nomura, Kingdom Hearts man, it's just very not confusing, but just convoluted. So I really do appreciate that. But like this in the trailer, like Sephiroth talks about like how he killed like cowgirl Tifa, like at the beginning of or like in Crisis Core, like where they're at the Maka reactor and all that stuff. And he's like, how is she still there? I killed her. So it sounds like there's like weird time travel-y stuff happening and other things. And you still see like, Zack. So like Zack is alive and I don't know. There's just all this weird stuff that happens in these games now. And it's awesome. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see Cosmo Canyon. I think that looked awesome. Like that scene
Oh
where you
yeah,
saw the um what do you call it, the telescope and just all that stuff, and all the stuff, the meteor showing up, all that stuff looked awesome. Just walking around outside looked awesome. Yeah, there's just a lot of cool things. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
yeah. I feel like this is one of those games where um, they remastered, they did it from ground up, and they redid it, and it looks great. This trailer to me was one of the better looking trailers I've seen in a long time,
Hmm.
and it's being Square Enix, it definitely should be. So super excited. It just says early 2024. What do you think? Like February, March, maybe? I would
Um,
say March.
the last one came out in March. I'm not sure. Actually, wait, did the last one come out in March?
I thought it was April. Was it April?
Yeah, it might have been April.
Yeah, because I
But
got it
yeah,
for my birthday.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I really don't know. This could also be delayed. That's highly
yeah,
possible. They did stress multiple times that this is a 2-disc game. I don't know what that means. Like, are there 2 install discs? Is like we haven't really seen Blu-ray install discs yet for the current consoles. The last time we saw an install disc was Red Dead. I want to say Red Dead
yeah.
2, where that had an install disc for the regular Blu-ray. Um,
And that was 100 gigs. I mean,
yeah,
that was a big, big file. Maybe that's what they're doing with it, because to get it to run right and to make it look right, it almost would have to be 2 discs.
yeah, and depending on how far this game goes, or if there are going to be differences in like I don't know gameplay and all that, like yeah, it's possible it just might have to be 2 discs. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it a lot. I'm excited to see Red 13. You can actually play as Red 13, and there are also some like combo finisher moves. I don't know if you notice, like where like
Yeah.
Tifa and Aerith would do something special, or Cloud and Barret would do something cool, or Cloud and Red 13. But yeah, looked awesome.
And that was the end of the show. But in the middle of the show, kind of, they get right into it, and they showed Spider-Man 2. And soon as the guy walks out for Insomniac, you knew they were going to give a date. And they said launches October 20th. They've even launched the different. They That's the cover. For
Yeah.
people that can't see, we actually have the cover they pulled up. They came out and they showed the cover. There are going to be 3 different versions of the game releasing, including one with a really cool statue with Miles, Spider Man, and Venom,
Hmm.
which look really cool. Um, I mean, this kind of shows you how big this is for them to come out there and say, "This is our date." You know, um, was I surprised by this one? No, no. Which, to be honest, this should have happened at the PlayStation Showcase. You know,
Yeah. They probably already had prior engagements or prior things for
Mm.
this, so that's why they had it here instead. Like people look at this Summer Games Fest, so it's good to have this here and to announce things here. Like I think this might have been the only Sony specific thing that was at Summer
yeah.
Games Fest. I could be wrong. I mean, I guess technically Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a PlayStation exclusive, timed exclusive, um, and then it's going to be on PC. But yeah, no, Spider-Man 2, awesome. October 20th. That statue, like you said, looks really cool. My only gripe about it is that it comes with a steelbook as a display case, and there's no actual game for it. It's digital.
You
Um,
know, that seems to be the thing, because they have more of the God of War top level, and there's no game with that. It says right on there, no game included.
what's the point? I don't understand. Like, the whole point of having a physical game is to have a physical game. Why do I want a display case to show off that I have this game in my digital library? The whole point of a digital library is just to have it digital and not take space.
Yeah, I've got my Halo one over there, and that comes with the Steelbook, but the game is in the Steelbook.
Yeah.
I didn't open it, so it's not opened. I opened the Halo box, but the game inside is not open, but the physical version is in there. So that's a weird thing I think they're starting to do. But again, we got a release date, and you mentioned like this being a Sony property. Do you know the one thing they didn't have? They had no major Nintendo exclusives, like nothing with Nintendo. Really, I mean, they've had games that
Yeah.
are going to be on Switch, but nothing that's like that thing. Which means that I think that we're going to see a Nintendo showcase or something here in the next couple weeks. To be
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah, potentially, for sure.
uh, but it's weird because Nintendo loves Jeff Keighley, so that kind of surprised me a little bit. But yeah, like this was really nice. This is like really started the beginning of the show. They showed a bunch of stuff, and then this came up, and main person for Insomniac comes out. So as we're starting, it's so far it's running really great. I think this was one of the better showcases
Yeah.
there. They also announced that Venom will not be Eddie Brock, which is kind of cool. They're kind of going with their own story in there, which I'm perfectly fine with. I know some people may not be fine with it, but I think that's still kind of cool. They're doing their own thing. Um, so we'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah,
There's
they've
lots of
been
talk
doing
about
their
that.
own thing for quite a while. So like, I mean,
Yeah,
the end of the Spider-Man game, they already did something. So I'm very excited to see what they're gonna
yeah.
do.
Next, they talked about Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, which is coming next year. It's a side-scrolling game. I mean, this one was okay. I didn't feel like the graphics on it looked very good. But it's a new Prince of Persia game. We haven't had a new Prince of Persia in a very long time. So side scrolling, um, kind of um, he has different moves. It looks like he had some time switches and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
I thought it looked pretty good. It just didn't feel like it was like a next gen title,
Yeah.
but
What's his name? Gerard has a video about it. Apparently he already got to play it like before
oh,
this. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Gerard the completionist, yeah. People who don't know, we talk about him a lot here. So
oh,
um
he's awesome.
yeah. But yeah, he has a video about how he played it and he really likes it. But supposedly it's the team who does the current Rayman games, like Rayman Legends and stuff like that. So it's very platformer heavy. So I think it's gonna do well with that. But I agree. Like the art style and stuff looks good, but it just kind of looks dated.
Yeah. Do you know what did look really good? Mortal Kombat 1. Holy crap. This is what they led with. And not only did they lead with this, um, but they showed actual gameplay. And then freaking Ed Boon comes out.
I did not expect Ed Boon to show up out of nowhere. Like I don't know, like you always hear about that. And you always joke like, yeah, Ed Boon will be up on stage, but like he was actually there. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I think people like myself, growing up with old G4 and seeing Ed Boon, I'm like, gosh, he's starting to look old now, you
Mhm.
know? But we got to remember, he was the original voice for Scorpions Get Over Here. And Mortal Kombat, to me, was such one of those games, but they also showed like a partner system.
Yeah.
And all the partners they showed were like original clothing looking, they looked like the original ones. So they had like Jax, they had Sonya, they had Kano. Um,
What are they called? Cameo. Cameo
yeah,
is what they're called. Yeah, it's like it's an assist thing similar to like Marvel vs. Capcom or something like that, where you have like someone who can attack with you.
the one thing I thought that was really cool during the gameplay is he did one of the cameos, and then he hit somebody in the air, did the cameo got some hits, and then he got some hits as well, which made for a really big combo.
Hmm.
They showed X-rays, they showed a couple fatalities, and they also said that Jean Claude Van Damme will be one of the skins for Johnny Cage,
Yeah.
which in the original it was supposed to be Jean Claude Van Damme. This was supposed to be a game kind of like Bloodsport,
Hmm.
um, which was one of his earlier bigger successes. They've already showed that Homelander is going to be in this game, which is freaking awesome from the boys.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know who else they could get that would be super cool for this game. Um, but that was awesome showing Homelander.
Hmm.
Um, and it was like a quick in the trailer like Homelander. So they didn't announce that there. Uh, so they didn't really kind of say, but I think it comes out this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think there is a date. I just don't remember what it is. Um, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's fall this year. I just don't remember when. Um, I did hear about the cameo system though, from other podcasts and things who have actually got to play it. Um, each like you hit like the cameo button or whatever, and like each of the cameo people or whatever have, depending on how you're holding the stick, like Smash Bros special moves, like that's how it is. So like there's a neutral cameo, there's a left right cameo, up
Oh, that's
cameo,
so
down
cool.
cameo. I think there's like an aerial cameo. So like yeah, there's a lot of different abilities that these cameo fighters can do, and so it's definitely going to make the fights interesting.
I mean, I love the last Mortal Kombat. I bought the top tier of it.
Mm,
Um, so loved it. It's especially with the people they got to be in that game. It's pretty crazy. Like they had all the weird, people that don't fit Mortal Kombat.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm anxious to see who they get.
Yeah,
You know, um, I'm trying to think off the top of my head who they could use because they've already used like Freddy and Jason
well,
Voorhees.
I'm pretty sure before this stuff happened, like when it kind of got leaked, kind of not, I thought we saw a season pass, because I want to say the bad guy from Invincible
That
is
would
in
make
it,
sense. That would make
which
sense.
is another Amazon property, which is kind of weird.
Mhm.
So
I mean, I think it's cool. It's like it is like Smash Brothers. Like you're excited to see who they get.
yeah.
I was, as much as I love it, I would love to have seen a third Injustice
Mm.
because the last Injustice was so good just for the fact they brought turtles into it.
Yeah, yeah, Injustice 2
Um,
was really fun. Like customization for like all the costumes and stuff was awesome.
do you know who I played as in that game? I earned it. It took forever to earn it. So I had Superman,
Hmm.
and so if you got the right combination, it would turn him into Bizarro.
Hmm.
And so I would use that all the time just because Bizarro's backwards.
Yeah,
So his comments when he would come in were hilarious. You know,
yeah.
I I think it was my favorite one is with Dark Sides. Uh, he comes out and goes, says Superman say you hurt crypto. And of course, Darkseid says his things. He goes, he goes, something along the lines of like he was really pissed off because he's trying to hurt the dog,
Hmm.
even though I'm sure several times he has hurt other people.
Yeah,
But that was like besides the turtles, that was like my favorite person to use.
yeah.
Um, so it's pretty exciting. We look for that this year. They did a Fortnite reveal of a Transformer crossover, which looked really cool.
Hmm.
Excuse me. One thing I wanted to see though, so obviously you get an Optimus Prime. I wanted to see if he transforms though.
I feel like he has to.
I mean, you have to do that. I mean, if you're gonna give my son doesn't play this anymore, but you know, anyone that knocks Fortnite, okay, Fortnite's not for everybody. But could you imagine getting in on this cash cow when they were just starting out looking for people to kind of
I know.
buy into it? The billions of dollars this company makes.
Hmm.
And they do it so well though.
Yeah,
Um, you know, they've added a whole bunch of stuff. And that actually has already happened. So it's live already.
yeah.
So the next thing the guy talked about was Super Stars, Sonic Superstars. It's a new 2D classic Sonic game coming this year. This one looks super cool.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't see this one coming, and it really was really cool because it looked like Sonic Generations, but it had a whole bunch of twists for it.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It reminded me of like old school Sonic.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's necessarily the Mania team. I think it might be. But the main thing that people are scared about was were the physics, because like Sonic Generations is great, but the physics aren't the same compared to 2D Sonic. They're different
Right.
within the 2D things. Same thing with like Sonic Forces and other games that try to do 2D 2D stages in quotes. Um someone had a side by side of Sonic, and Sonic Mania, and the exact same physics for everything. So, if you like Sonic, this is Sonic, and that's gonna be awesome. You got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and even like old Amy, style from Sonic CD. Um, and looks like we're getting more characters as well from like was it Triple Trouble,
Yeah.
whatever that guy is called, and then there's some other new characters and stuff. So I think it's gonna be a really fun time. I forget when it said it's coming out. I don't know if they did. They might have
Oh,
just
it
said
just says
fall.
yeah, it just says fall.
Okay,
So you
but
can imagine it'll be here before holiday.
yeah, but I'm
Um,
looking forward to it. The main downside, which I kind of understand, is that it's 4 player co-op, only local. There's no online 4 player co-op, but like Sonic is Sonic, so I don't even know how you can do 4 player co-op in the first
yeah.
place. So not having it online makes sense,
Yeah.
honestly. But yeah, no, it looks awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, Sonic is great.
Then they showed a little bit of Alan Wake 2 gets they showed a ton of gameplay.
Yeah.
Um man, I never really played Alan Wake before.
Hmm.
Um, but this looked really, really good. Super eerie.
Yeah.
Um, you know, now and I heard I was listening to kind of funny talk about it, and Greg actually got to play this game, and he said this was his most anticipated game of the year.
Yeah,
Um,
a lot of people are saying the same thing. Yeah, it's very much a detective, like a paranormal detective mystery, and so like kind of like survival horror and stuff. I've never played the first Alan Wake. I have it, but I've never played it. And then I never touched Control, but supposedly, yeah, you can play all this stuff without needing to. I mean, supposedly you can play this game without needing to play the old one. So
yeah, which was crazy about it watching this, trailer. Like, oh, it's got that Resident Evil vibe, but it doesn't. It's like Greg compared it to like Resident Evil slash True Detective, a show on HBO,
mhm.
because you are trying to figure out what's going on besides like just running around shooting a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that comes out this year. I think.
yeah, it's
Um,
digital only too, because we talked
yeah.
about that a few weeks ago.
One that I didn't see coming as well was Like a Dragon Gaiden, Gaiden or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
It's a whole Ninja Gaiden thing.
Guiding Gaiden. Yeah.
But this one looks really good. So I was telling this to Alex. Said, "Do you know what it reminded me of? It had that John Wick feel to it.
Hmm.
It literally did. Um, you know, these games. I own the last one, the Samurai one, which I've never touched, which I feel bad about. Um,
Yeah.
but I love the fact that these are games coming from overseas that we probably wouldn't see normally, but they sell so well that they're coming out so quickly. So
Yeah.
um, this one was another one that looked really, really good.
Yeah. This one specifically, yeah, you touched on John Wick, and that's very much what this is. It is this takes place after six, so Ryuga Gotoku or Yakuza. Now they're called Like a Dragon, which means Ryuga Gotoku is like a dragon. Um, but yeah, this comes after six, so it's kind of like a 6.5. Um, and it takes place after spoilers for six, I guess. Like Kiryu's out of the game, and they're like, you need to come back for one other mission. Um, so that's why he has a different name now, and all that because he's supposed to be dead. So,
Yeah,
um, like, yeah, it's very much a John Wick coming out of retirement, fighting people, for a specific cause. So, um, yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot. I think this game is a digital only, as far as I saw.
that's what you're saying.
Um, as well. But yeah, November, what does it say? November 9th. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I still have to beat was it 7? Like a Dragon. I still need to beat that. And I still need to touch the Judgment games beyond it. I have too many games, but I feel
I
like I should play 7 and finish that before this because I bet it's gonna reference things that go into 7.
Yeah, I still have the two. Um, what is the ones you just said? Oh my gosh.
Like a Dragon. And,
No,
oh,
the
no,
other one.
Judgment. Yeah,
Yeah, Judgment was free on PlayStation Plus.
yeah,
Um, but I thoroughly enjoyed those games when I was playing them because it was like because you work for a
yeah.
detective
Detective.
agency,
Yeah,
so so that was pretty cool. I never finished them,
yeah,
um, but I think I love this style of game. I just haven't had the time to sit down and play them.
yeah.
But I'm glad that they're releasing them. I really am. I think the fact that they keep coming out is telling me that they're selling well, which
Hmm.
is good. So next they talked about Star Trek Infinity. Um, that actually comes out. The full reveal is coming out on June 16th. They just showed a little tidbit
Yeah.
there. Not much to really say about that. Um, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. Um, it is exactly that. So it felt like an old 80s horror movie. Gross as crap,
Yeah.
um, but it felt like those old ones there.
Has there
Uh,
ever been a Toxic Commando game before, like on NES or something, or has this been the first time?
there was Toxic Crusader on NES,
Okay.
and that's an expensive game.
Okay.
Like, because it was. I remember on the Angry Video Game Nerd, he played him with Lloyd Kaufman,
Yeah,
who
yeah, yeah. I
owns
remember that. Yeah.
uh, and stuff. I remember my parents did not like me watching that cartoon at all,
Hmm.
which was weird because it wasn't bad. It just they knew the other trauma stuff there. Yeah, this one was. I mean, you know, I didn't think anything of this one. I was just like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, um, it's a first person shooter, and it's gonna be hordes. So
It looks bad though, honestly.
it does.
Um,
It does.
I'm gonna pull up a tweet from one of my friends, Double A, who I went to high school with. He wrote, "This game's by John Carpenter. Maybe they should have hired John Programmer. Dot dot dot. I said maybe they should have." So like no one heard him, but like yeah, like honestly, yeah, they're programming this game looks very generic, unfortunately,
It does.
because of this John Carpenter though. Like I feel like it should look better, but it doesn't.
I feel like that's the thing nowadays of like, ooh, I'm gonna do a game and pop this name on there. Because later when we
Like
talk about
Friday the
the Avatar,
13th or something like that.
yeah, it, I played that once or twice. It was fun. It really was. It
That
was
license is
glitzy.
going away though. Like what, in
Yeah,
like a couple months or something?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun though. It sucked if you were Jason Voorhees though.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, some games really work well,
Yeah.
some don't. When we talk about the Avatar game, I still don't think that looks good at all.
Yeah.
But one that I was really super excited about was Sandlands. As soon as I saw it, I already knew who the person was that did it.
Yep.
Bandai Namco. It's definitely the same art style. Uh, I mean, just the guy in the one picture that we're showing right now literally looks like he's from Dragon Ball because that's the guy that drew it.
Yep.
Um, this looks really, really good. Very open world. You're using more of like machines and mechs and stuff like that. As my dog's knocking over stuff. Um, but like this one was a big surprise for everybody. I
Yep.
don't think anyone saw it coming. I thought it was Dragon Quest, but I was like, that's not Dragon Quest.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I know what this is, but what is it called? And then as soon as I said Sandland, I recognized it because like Sandland is, I mean, as this article says as well, like it is an old manga from like like 2000 is when the volume was actually released, but like it used to be like either Shonen Jump or something, like it was released in like chapters. And so it's very much like a one volume thing and that's it. I did find out like yeah, this game we don't have a date for it yet, but I did find out though how there is a movie, like an anime movie CG like this that's coming out I think in August.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know where that's releasing or anything, but that is a thing that's happening. So I think they're trying to revive Sandland in general, and Bandai Namco is just trying to start something here.
I mean, I think people were very excited about that,
Mm-hmm.
just because of who it was. Um, so we'll have to wait and see. This one kind of threw me off a little bit. So it's called Power World. It's basically like Pokemon, but with guns. So all the battles they had like guns and stuff like that, and I was like, for a second there, I was like, "What am I watching right now?"
Yeah, we've seen this before, but it's been so long that I completely forgot it existed.
It comes out early access comes out next January. Uh, yeah, it's so you're collecting them like Pokemon, but they all have guns,
Mm-hmm.
and you can ride them and you can do a bunch of stuff. I thought that was kind of cool, but I'm like, man, this is I don't even know what to think about this.
This character on the screen looks like a cross between a Pikachu and my neighbor Totoro.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's all of the monsters as they call them look like Pokemon,
Yeah.
like in some way or form. So how they've not got sued yet, I have no idea. Um, we saw a quick trailer. Um, next, they showed Lord of the Rings: Return to Mora is coming this fall. I have to say it. I think the Lord of the Ring games are done. Um, Golem did not do very well. I've
That
seen all the
looks so
glitches.
bad.
It does not look good at all. And I don't think there's like nothing's ever going to beat the games that came out on PS2. You know?
There's a new like article like that we can go into detail at some other point. But basically, Embracer Group being like, "Hey, we have Lord of the Rings. We should do better about it." Yeah, you should.
Yeah, you should. I at first it was funny because I was like, "Is this a cell phone game?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's not. Oh, it's not a cell phone game." Yeah, I don't even
Yeah,
know.
it looks bad.
They did show Final Fantasy VII, Ever Crisis. It's getting close to a beta. Um, that's one they've showed before. July 6th is when
Yeah,
the beta begins. This is a cell phone game. I really wasn't. I don't play games on my cell
I'm
phone.
ready. I'm ready for it because I've been excited for this. Um,
You have to let me know how it is. If it's good, I might,
so
but
I
I usually
can't.
don't.
Yeah, so I can't even do the beta. The beta is exclusive for Android or Google.
Oh,
Um,
that sucks.
yeah, you can only pre-download or pre-order it through Apple. And I don't even know when the game actually comes out, but it's essentially a freemium version of old Final Fantasy, but has a different type of like gotcha mechanics for like rolling for characters or done special summons stuff like that. But it is a free game, so if
This
I
looks.
yeah if I get a way of where I can play the old stuff or the stuff that I've never experienced before in a different way so I can just like read it, I think that's awesome because there's games that we've never gotten before in the Crisis era. Because there's Before Crisis, which takes place with the Turks, and then there was Crisis Core, which is what we got. Um, and then Dirge of Cerberus and stuff like that was included in that, and um, Advent Children, like all that was like a thing at the time. So seeing Before Crisis stuff in America for the first time, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, Ever Crisis is I'm looking forward to it. I just hope I really just want to read stuff. That's what I want to do. I just want to read
Yeah,
the story and like have a good way of doing it. Hopefully the gameplay's fun.
I think it's funny that that looked better than the Lord of the Rings game.
Oh
And then I
yeah,
was
for
like,
sure.
"Oh, that's a cell phone game," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
The thing that people are complaining about this game though is that they kind of wish that they would take the um, I forget what their names are. The Genshin people. I don't remember what their name is. Moihoi. I can't say it. Never mind. Um, I just don't remember it. But like they're hoping that they would take a page from their book and make this mobile game also available on consoles. Because like I think this game could do well on consoles as well. Um, it just depends on how they're doing the gacha mechanics and stuff. Like
Right.
how much pay to win is this? Because it is multiplayer, but it also is single player. I don't know. According to like Tim Geddes and like other people are kind of funny. Like they kind of got like weird answers from Square about it. So
Probably.
yeah,
Probably.
we'll see. We'll see what it is, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Um, they showed Banisher's Ghost of a New Eden, um, which I feel like we've seen this before.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Okay, so we did. They just showed more of that. Still no release date. I don't think there. They did show more footage.
Mhm.
I thought this looked cool before. I still think it looks cool. Um, we just really kind of need a release date at this point.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know?
trying to think if we've seen this. Like, I think we have, or maybe we've seen something very similar. But like, yeah, it looks fine. It's just not anything that I'm really super interested in, to be honest. So
Yeah. Um,
same thing with
Baldur's
this.
Gate. Baldur's Gate introduced Jason Isaacs as a major villain. Um, I thought that was he's a great actor. I always
Yeah.
love when they get actors into games. Um, so I don't really get into this game very much. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Hmm.
Malfoy's dad. So
Yeah.
okay, so here's one here. The next one we're gonna talk about is Twisted Metal. They showed like a clip from Twisted Metal, and they showed Sweet Tooth fighting Anthony Mackie with some weird thong song stuff. And the internet has been like all over the place with this. People hated it.
It looks so
People,
bad.
um, you know, I'm a movie buff, and so I feel like they're like, we wanted cars, we wanted cars. They should have shown a clip from the cars. What this scene here was building up characters for the show. It happens with everything that I mean, it's like I'm trying to find a good example. It's like Star Wars. We know they're going to be in ships, but there's other things you got to build up. This was kind of cringy.
Yep.
I love the person that's playing Sweet Tooth. They got that right,
Yeah.
which is even crazier because it's not even his voice. So I think the person that plays Sweet Tooth is Samoan Joe from WWE.
It is, and then Will Arnett's his voice.
Yeah, and so that's at least they got Sweet Tooth right
Yeah.
there. But it would have been nice to see other characters. It'd have been nice to see more of the cars. It'd have been nice seeing Sweet Tooth driving down the road shooting rockets
Like the
there.
previous trailer was a lot better than this
Yeah.
because it didn't show a whole lot, and it showed like a little bit of like cars and stuff. So like, yeah, like I don't know. This is like a weird TV spot thing that didn't need to be here. And yeah, I guess yeah, this is another PlayStation thing. So these are the two PlayStation things that were here. Um, but yeah, no, it didn't need to be here. It made me want to watch the show even less. So,
How do we go from Last of Us to this?
well,
You
one's
know?
one's Peacock and one's HBO.
Well, it's funny because I know that they are working on a God of War show. Um,
Amazon, I think.
it's very much worrisome for me.
Yeah.
If HBO had it, no problem because I feel like we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, that was kind of a cringy when they're singing the thong song together. Now, I get from the perspective of being a movie person that this is what builds the characters up, but show what people want to see.
Yeah, this is
They
for
want to
hype.
see.
We don't want to see character development in the trailer. We want to see hype.
We want to see Sweet Tooth having rockets shoot out of a ice cream truck.
Yep.
That's what we
Exactly.
want. They showed that Marvel Snap is getting new competitive mode, which is already, as we're recording today, it happened today.
Yeah. With an awkward
Um,
video from that one voice actor.
yeah, it was kind of weird, super awkward. They showed a new trailer for Call Season 4 of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Which, you know what? I get it. That game just is gonna keep rocking. It's funny, I watch these trailers and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's super cool. I want to play it now. And then I get in there and I get smoked in 5 seconds. I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Yep.
I'll go back to Halo.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, that's cool. That comes out June 14th, which is when this podcast release.
Yeah.
So they showed another gameplay trailer for Path of Exile 2. A top-down RPG. Looks really good.
Mhm.
Um, that one actually comes out July 28th, which I liked about so far what we've seen is they did show some things that are coming out now
Yeah.
in the next couple of months or weeks or whatever. When you start talking about Xboxes, there was a lot of stuff that's like, oh, coming 2024,
Mm-hmm.
which we'll talk about that. Um, this one I kind of liked because I do the next one. I was super excited. Exo Primo is getting a Street Fighter 6 crossover. So this game actually looks pretty cool. I'm super excited about it. I have it pre-downloaded on Game Pass. It comes out this week. But they showed because it's a mech suit, shooting dinosaurs game, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dinosaurs. But what was really cool is they showed a mechanized Ryu. They showed a Guile
Mm-hmm.
and destroying dinosaurs with fireballs and Hadoukens and stuff like that. This was kind of cool. It was super quick. It was less than a minute,
Yeah.
but it kind of built up that hype for that game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll play it. It's downloaded on my Xbox Game Pass on my PC. I will at least check it out. Are you gonna check that one out or?
Maybe. I mean, yeah. I don't know when, but eventually. I feel like I think it looks fun. I've heard good things already about it. Um, I don't think it's for me, but I'll definitely give it a try.
We should totally play together because then we can like not do well together.
Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
um Lies of P gets a demo. We were just actually talking about this. This is one that me and Alex have like talked about before. I have not played the demo there, but this game, the more I see of this game, the more it looks so cool.
Yeah.
Um, just the story, it is definitely not Disney's version of Pinocchio.
No.
Um, it's weird because it's got like that feel of like I'm going through the pictures here. It's got that feel of like not Final, like Final Fantasy a little bit, like some of the
Mhm.
characters ish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's giving me near vibes.
Yes,
And Bloodborne.
yeah. The demo is out now, and then the game comes out September 19th, which is a little bit. I guess it's supposed to come out in August. Which, as I've said in the podcast before, if you need to push a game back to get it done right, push the game back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not have what happened with other games that I will not name
You have
here.
to name it because it's gonna show up here later.
Uh, so Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about because I have yet to play it since I had so many issues with it. You know,
Yeah.
so if you are a game like this that's just like tends to be, it's going to be like a big title which people are looking for. It's something different. Take your time. Push that date back as far as you need.
Mm-hmm.
So they showed Netflix shared the season 3 trailer for The Witcher. I'm not. I'm gonna say it. I have yet to watch all of the season of this. My dad loves the show. He has no idea it's a video game, but
I haven't watched
uh,
any of it. I don't have any interest of it. It's Skyrim to me. It's too high fantasy. It's too Lord of the Rings. That means it's bad.
well, which is crazy because so obviously the main character Henry Cavill was leaving the show to do Superman, and then James Gunn was like, "Oh yeah, we don't need to do Superman, thank you." And so they were supposed to get Thor's brother because I
They
don't know
still
what he
they
does.
still are. It's just he's leaving the show sometime this season.
Yeah. So, which is weird because I'm like, man, you had all these people you could go with, and you go with like the not as good, you know.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, the
uh,
other one he's retiring from acting. I thought because of the whole having history of Alzheimer's or something in his family.
yeah, I saw that. If they cast his brother as Thor, though, I'm gonna be very upset.
I think they're gonna kill Thor off. I
They
think that's what
probably
they're gonna
will.
do.
Uh, Speaking of Henry Cavill, Warhammer 40K Space Marines revealed co-op. This is just not a series I really got into. I think there was one that I got into. I think it was free PlayStation Plus on PlayStation 3.
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing now. Am I shooting people? I mean, it's just like a big mess of like hordes, is
I've
what it was.
played Warhammer tabletop before because that's really the only thing I know. Like, there's Warhammer, which is like like the fantasy, like high fantasy, and then there's 40K, which is the futuristic one. So yeah, this is the futuristic one. I have no interest. I don't like this kind of stuff. I will never play it.
One thing that was super cool is Nicolas Cage is coming to Dead by Daylight. Uh, by the way, how cool is it that he came out there and he answered all those questions and was like, I'm Nicolas Cage. It's
Well,
all good.
well, like he also like mentioned he's like characters by name and just being like, I have people in the family who are really interested in this person. It's like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
so you actually like know what this game is and you're having fun. All right.
Renfield just came out on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
And so I plan to watch it. And my wife was like, so he's Dracula. She goes, out of all the people that could pick us, oh no. He's like a perfect Dracula for the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Um you know, so he will be on there July 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Um, another one was Yes, Your Grace sequel announced. I'm not too familiar with this game. I know, so I guess it was a sequel to the 2020 indie game from Brave at Night and No More Robots. It's about making choices. This is one I just didn't know anything about at all.
Yeah, it remind me of the old pixel animation stuff that you saw in like older games or like older YouTube videos. I mean, we keep talking about kind of funny and stuff, but it remind me of like the old Game Over Greggy opening.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like very stylized pixelization stuff, but like not quite video game pixelization. But
Oh, how I missed that opening. Now that
yeah,
you say that,
yeah,
it was probably one of the best openings ever
yeah.
of a video game. Another one they talked about was Witchfire. Comes to early access in September. Um, this is another one that I've never. I remember. So I guess it's the same company that did Bulletstorm, which I did play a little bit of.
Yeah.
The only reason I played it is because one of the playable characters was Duke Nukem.
Yep, I remember that. I played Bulletstorm. I liked Bulletstorm a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good game. It was something different.
Yeah,
But playing as Duke Nukem made that game for me
yeah,
because he kept saying Duke Nukem stuff.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, so I guess the early access launches September 20th. And there's a couple of these some of them I've gone through pretty quickly. It's just ones that we just didn't get a whole lot of, or we've seen kind of like before.
yeah.
Uh, Remnant 2, they actually released a date for this, uh, which is releasing next month, July 25th. Um, it's a very much a Dark Souls game with guns. It looked pretty decent.
Hmm.
Um, Immortals of is it
Avium.
Avium? They showed a game clip there. That was kind of one of the things. It's like the magical shooter game where you're using two hands.
Was that the one with the kid from Never Have I Ever? I forget his name, but like he's like a new actor. Like he was like a teenage actor, but not really like.
Yeah, I think so because it's a shooter, but you're using magic the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
time.
yeah. I like him as an actor a lot, and I think he did well of acting in the game. The game bored me to death. The game reminded me of BioShock 2, but like a bad BioShock 2.
It had that vibe, especially with the hand movements.
Yep.
Um, because you could have a gun in one hand and you were doing, things with the other. Um, I just didn't. I just didn't get into it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. Someone in our podcast maybe go, "Oh, I thought that game looked great. It's gonna be an awesome game."
Hmm.
All they really did they showed just more of an extended gameplay. We've already seen gameplay
Yeah.
from the PlayStation, so um, I it seems like no offense. It's so funny when they showed what studio was doing it and who was doing it.
Yeah.
Electronic Arts. I was like, oh, this looks like everything they do.
Yep.
Just the magic.
Hmm.
We're gonna get some hate for that, but yeah. Under the Waves gets an August release date. Um, it looks like a mix of submarine piloting and scuba diving. Weird atmosphere. It seems very dark. I mean, you're in the ocean of some sort.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I thought, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, you know, maybe not for me. I feel like that is one that we would get on PlayStation Plus at some point.
It
Or
reminded me
Xbox
of
Live.
that, of like a game that would just show up on regular PlayStation Plus like a year later.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was pretty cool. And the game's coming out in August. So again, another game that they showed a trailer for, and they showed stuff that says, "Hey, it's coming out in the next couple months." Um, is it what is this one?
Honkai Star Rail.
There we go.
The only difference is that it's just coming to PS5. Like that's what it is. It's coming to PS5 Q4 2023. MiHoYo, that's what they're called. What I was
MiHoYo.
trying earlier. They're the Genshin Impact people. The main difference between this game and like Genshin Impact and like the other ones is that this one is a turn-based RPG with gacha mechanics. So probably
Okay.
fairly similar to probably that Ever Crisis Final Fantasy game that's coming out soon.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying like they should just port it to other consoles.
This is kind of like these when they showed a lot of these, I was like, eh. I mean, they got to show stuff that's not like bangers every time. Because like even the next one, like Black Desert gets an online expansion. Okay.
Yeah, I did not
Um,
care.
yeah. So like some of those were like okay, you know. But like I still feel so far as we're going through this the Summer Game Fest, the show was still on fire. It still was spot on. It had my attention for like 90% of it, and that's what you want. You want that. Oh, this is really cool, and they did open with some big ones. This is another one I thought really. I'm totally gonna like butcher the name here.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Fanga,
Yeah, I have no
the
idea.
Time Shifting Warrior. That looks really good. I liked it. It had like a different kind of mechanics to it. Um, uh, it had like very much. It said Hades vibes. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, at first I thought it was like a Hades spin-off. Like I already know that we have Hades 2 coming out. Um but at first I thought it was like, oh, are we just seeing another type of Hades? No, we're not. So
Yeah, and it comes out again. Another game coming out this year. Uh, Fae Farm gets a release date. Seems like to be it's a farm simulator sort of deal coming to Nintendo Switch and PC again, September 8th. Throne and Liberty gets a new trailer. I feel like we've definitely seen this before.
yep.
This is the Amazon game that they're working on. Yeah, which is weird because if I'm right, this is the Amazon game, right?
It might
No,
be.
it could be. It has it for Xbox and PS5 and PC. Maybe it's not.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. This is MMO though. So like yeah, I don't remember what this is now I'm thinking about it. It's been
Yeah,
a while.
there was so many.
Yeah.
There was an Amazon game that is like an MMO that they've been working on for a while.
Yeah.
Um, that one looked pretty cool. No date,
Mm-hmm.
just hey, it's coming. And then we got Party Animals
I
gets a release date.
don't remember this.
I feel like we've seen it before. Like I feel
I
like
think we have.
and I feel this is exactly like a game that we already have out right now.
Like Gang Beast or something like that.
Yeah, that's all it really was. And then the last they showed that there's a special Xbox Series X with Porsche. You could sign up for it. There was a sweepstakes to win. I will not win. I've probably been on there every day. I won't win. And this was
a Porsche.
Well, it's the Porsche
Okay.
Xbox. Yeah, if I won a Porsche, I would probably have to sell it because insurance would be awful.
Yep.
So this was the game. This is Game Fest. I thought I don't want to do like a number, but I thought this was good. I thought this was what I was not getting from E3.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. That was very fast. It didn't really overstay its welcome. The main concern from everyone, and I can really see that, and it's kind of a fumble, honestly, is that from the people who were on stage, there were no women on stage at all. And so that was the biggest complaint. But if that is the only complaint of your thing, besides like, which is a very valid and like huge complaint, if there's nothing else to really complain about, like that's a pretty good conference right there. Like yeah, that is a shame that that there weren't any, but at the same time, at least we're not complaining that like, oh, the games are bad and all this other stuff.
I want to know how many people watched it worldwide.
A lot, I'm sure.
And that's the thing is like, with E3 not happening this year,
Yeah.
it this it was funny because I think I remember once they said there was no E3, Jeff Keighley announced something about Games Fest pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
immediately. Yeah, because he was already ready for it.
Yeah, and there's still going to be a concert, isn't there? There's like a live concert that they're doing
Oh, maybe.
with winners from last year.
Yeah.
And there's still stuff happening this whole week with Games Fest. This was just like their big kickoff show for like their big things, but like we're also going to talk about Xbox Showcase, Ubisoft, and Capcom, and those were all part of Game. Well, I don't know about
Kind of.
Xbox. They were mentioned during
Yeah.
Summerfest. But let's jump into the Xbox one.
Yeah. Do you want me to do this for you since you just talked a lot about another one?
Yeah, why don't you do this one because
so you can, yeah,
rest my voice. But yeah, go ahead and jump into this one.
all right. First of all, we got Moss. We got Moss from Richard Adeoye from IT Crowd. We got him. I love him. I love IT Crowd. I like the first season of IT Crowd. I should say that.
Oh yeah,
but like, he's a very nerdy guy. He's like, I'm just gonna put the fire over here next to the other fire. But he's very nerdy and stuff. And it turns out he's a giant, and it's a Fable trailer. It's only a cinematic trailer. It still looks really good. Everyone's main complaint about it is that it's too jokey and too fun because all the other Fables have been very serious. And that is true. That is a valid complaint. However, not everyone's an emo kid anymore, so just grow up and have fun. Honestly, yeah. Like I think this looks really fun. Like I think if it keeps this type of tone, I think we're gonna have a good time. Cyberpunk, you didn't have to say it. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty gets a trailer. There's also some Keanu Reeves who showed up, and he was like, hey, I'm going to be in this. Also, Idris Elba is going to be in it as well. I think Idris Elba is playing maybe the bad guy or something, but yeah, it's an expansion. It's coming out September 26th, and everyone loves Cyberpunk now, apparently, ever since they fixed it.
When this came on, my wife was like, she's in love with Idris Elba. Like, legitimately.
Oh, everyone is.
And she's like, are you going to play that? I'm like, no, I'm not going to play that because you actually have to have the game, and I don't have it anymore because it never worked.
Yeah.
And, and God love Keanu Reeves. He's into it, Yeah. I watched this. I mean, here's the thing is it looks good, but man, unless somebody offers it for free, I probably won't be purchasing this game.
It's probably going to be on PlayStation Plus, like one of the tiers at one point. I don't know about the expansion. I don't know if the expansion's free or anything. They haven't mentioned that.
It's got to be free because because I know that they were trying to make people pay for them, and then no one was playing it, therefore no one bought it.
Yeah, but now I don't know though because like it's successful, so they might try to make you pay for it now. Avowed popped up, new trailer, new logo and everything. Obsidian's new RPG. It's coming out 2024 sometime. Game Pass, everything. I want to say everything is Game Pass for the most part.
Yeah, they were everything almost. It was like coming to Game Pass day one.
Yeah,
just about.
Yeah. So again, these aren't in order. Similar to the other things that they're using IGN, and IGN likes to do stuff weird because this is one of the last things that they showed. Xbox Series S. It is a terabyte now. It's coming out September 1st. It's going to be $349.99 probably. Okay. I think a thing came out, an interview with Todd Howard, I guess, because we're going to talk about Starfield in a bit, but an interview came out where he apparently plays the S mostly because he can't get on the X since his kids are on the X. So he just plays an S in a different room. And so he really enjoys his S or whatever. And they talked about that, I think, kind of earlier as well. And then they kind of ended with this where they're like, hey, we heard you. You like the S, but you also wanted to have a bigger hard drive at launch. It's like, which makes sense because like if it's a digital only thing, it should have a bigger hard drive. So like I appreciate that it is a terabyte base.
I think it's funny because, like, yes, the S was super successful because at the holidays last year, you could buy it for like $200.
Mhm.
I remember, I think the one I showed you, because I got one for my son, was like it was 250 plus a $50 gift card from Target. And so the reason that they sold so many of them was because of that. I mean, people that couldn't afford the $400 for a PS5 or the
Yeah.
500
Yeah.
or couldn't afford the other was like, hey, I can get this for my kid and they have a next gen console. So
Yeah.
I think also with Starfield coming out, they're getting ready for that. So people that have a digital only can be able to play it because you probably will need a terabyte. I mean, to
Probably.
be honest.
Probably. Starfield, I don't know why they put this here twice, but yeah, Starfield got a trailer in the thing and just kind of showed it off a little bit. We'll talk about Starfield later. South of Midnight, Compulsion Games new game. Um it was just a cinematic. It looked interesting, the swamp and the
It
guy
did.
playing the guitar and then the big old monster at the end. Yeah, Game Pass obviously, Series X and S, PC on Steam. They showed Star Wars Outlaws, a big cinematic trailer for that. This is the game that's coming by Ubisoft, and it looks this is cinematic, so it looks amazing. My only complaint with it, and we'll talk about it later as well, is that it was just cinematics. There was no gameplay. So the whole time, personally for me, I was like, "All right, cool. This looks awesome. What's the game gonna look like?" And we kind of saw that later in the Ubisoft thing. Um, but yeah, it's an open world game coming out for Series X and S at least. I don't know if they've announced other consoles yet.
I think it'd
They
be dumb for them not to put it on the
Yeah,
PS5.
they might have said it something in the. I see a spider web on my monitor. Awesome. Um, they might have mentioned something in the Ubisoft forward or whatever, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll have to take a look. A lot of this kind of stuff has been not embargoed, but like you're not allowed to talk about like what um, other consoles these things are coming to just yet. And we'll talk about that again here in a second. Forza Motorsports coming in October. Forza's fun. And it's on Game Pass, so I can just play Forza and then uninstall it. Like that's what I do. I play Forza for a
Yeah.
bit. I have fun with it. I do what I want, and then I uninstall it. And that's what I did with all the others. In Exile, Clockwork Revolution is a new game. Um, I vaguely remember this. Yeah, it's a first-person shooter. Oh yeah, that's right. It's like steampunk. It felt very much like Bioshock Infinite,
Yeah, it
um,
did.
but worse. um, but yeah, another Game Pass one. Here we go. Here we go, boys. Metaphor Re Fantasio. This is a game made by Project Zero, I want to say. They're the people from Atlas who used to work on Persona Team, and then they went and made their own team within Atlas to create new IP. So this is the director from Persona 3, 4, and 5, along with some other creators there too. This game looks like the melding between an actual Shin Megami Tensei and a Persona game. Very high fantasy, but with some I don't know, like there might be a little bit like futuristic or steampunk elements there. But yeah, it's coming out in 2024. Very, very Persona, and I think it looks awesome. The style and everything looks great.
I love the colors.
Yeah,
And like when they would pull up the menus, I'm like, that's totally the new
every
Persona.
menu looks the same now. Like for Persona, like it has like whenever you go to the actual menu, like it's dynamic and it's like a wallpaper, like it or
Yeah.
like a screensaver, like it does something and comes up. But yeah, no, this is my probably one of the games of these conferences, like of the year of the season or whatever, where I'm just like, yep, this is a buy for me immediately. um it's not a buy for me, Spiritfarer, but yeah, I'm sorry, it's not. Wait, no, this isn't Spiritfarer, it's their studio. Thunder Lotus. No, this wasn't for me. Um, let's see. Thunder Lotus. What was it? 33 Immortals. Top-down action game. Um, yeah, up to 33 players at once. It looked really weird. It looked like it could be too busy for me.
Yeah.
I just wasn't into it. Payday 3. Forgot that game existed, but hey, it got
So did
gameplay
I.
and a release. It's coming out September 21st. Hey, something that didn't get leaked. Persona got leaked. So if it didn't get leaked, I feel like we would be happy about it. Persona 3 Reload is the official remake of vanilla Persona 3. It's coming to Game Pass early 2024. If you know Persona, people are thinking that it might be coming out in March, specifically a certain day in March. But yeah, it looks awesome. They've done a
It
lot
did.
of different things with it. There are no voices, but they did confirm, or all the actors confirmed on Twitter after the fact, who's voicing who. They changed all the actors up. And granted, this game came out like almost 20 years ago, if not 20 years ago already. So like makes sense, to change actors. And also there are some problematic actors in who were part of this. Vic Mignogna is one. He was in this game. Yeah, so everyone in this game is a brand new actor for these characters. So that's really cool to see for voice acting and stuff. I don't know about the Japanese. Normally in Japan media, if you are a character, you are a character for life. So it's probably still going to be the same there. I've seen a lot of breakdowns and stuff. This is going to be day one of the Game Pass, and they recently announced this is coming for. I have it pulled up. Let's see, Series XS, regular Xbox One, Windows, PS5, PS4, and Steam. There was a leak earlier that said Switch, but there's no Switch there yet.
Yeah.
But, maybe we're going to have a Nintendo thing like how you're talking about earlier, and maybe Nintendo will announce it on their own because they kind of did that last time.
Yeah, and I feel like they haven't done theirs yet. So I feel in the next couple of
If
weeks,
they do it.
I think they'll do something in July. Is when I think
They
they'll
normally do. Yeah.
I think they'll have a big showcase because Sony had theirs, Microsoft had theirs, and then they'll come in July. And last July, when they did it, they did a fantastic job. I mean, it was like everything we wanted to hear. So yeah, I love the fact that they're redoing these. I mean, it just goes to show you that the Persona people that love Persona are getting what they asked for because they're they're obviously making money. I think it was Greg and Colin back in the days of Beyond of like, you know what, vote with your wallet. If you are not buying these games, then they will not do more.
Yeah.
Unless you're Ubisoft and you do like Assassin's Creed because everyone buys. I don't know people that buy them, but they keep doing them.
Yeah, I get you.
But
the big thing with this Persona game though is that it is a remake of the vanilla. They have talked about it some more though in recent interviews. They've been saying that it does include stuff from Fez. So don't worry about like that because there's certain like social links and stuff that's in the Fez version for PS2, which is like Persona 4 versus Persona 4 Golden. There's Persona 3 versus Persona 3 Fez. So it has that stuff. It just doesn't have the epilogue thing.
gotcha.
I think the reason why it doesn't have the answer, the epilogue, is because the epilogue isn't really canon anymore. Now that like Persona 4 Arena and stuff exists and it's on current consoles, Persona 4 Arena is a sequel to Persona 3 in a sense. Like they're all connected story wise, so I think that's the main reason why the answer isn't there. But yeah, stay tuned. Persona 3 is gonna be awesome. I'm actually thinking about streaming Persona 3 Fez again. I'm gonna try to do that, pull it up on my PS3 and play through that because It's been a hot minute, and I don't want to play the Switch portable version because as soon as I turned it on, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is the portable version." I still bought it to support it, but like,
Right.
I don't like the visual novel aesthetic for that game specifically. I want to run around a PS2 world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that.
Yeah.
Totally
Uh,
get that.
After this, we talk about games that I want to buy. Games that I'm not gonna buy. Persona 5 Tactica. It is a tactics game, so there's a big one why I'm not buying it. It's a Persona 5 Fire Emblem type tactics game. So yeah, with new chibi art style, it's kind of like, do you know what Q Pocket is? Those are those new figures, like anime figures, where they look
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like cute and they have like big eyes and stuff, and they're not pop figures, but like they're taller and they're basically Japan pop figures. They're not
Okay.
Nenderuns or anything, but like they're kind of cheap and they all kind of like have the same face. That's what this reminds me of. They're very lanky pop figure type people. Um, Kind of like Persona Q, in like their chibi designs, but just a little bit different and a little off in my opinion. So I don't really like the design. I don't know if this is a sequel to the original Persona 5. I don't know if it's a sequel to or like a spinoff to Royal, because Strikers or Scramble, whatever you want to call it, the Musou game was a sequel to the vanilla Persona 5. Since the Royal didn't come out yet, or it wasn't like
Mhm.
out yet and stuff. So yeah, this is the tactics game. It's coming out November 17th, so pretty soon. Honestly, relatively soon. Um, and yeah, it's on Game Pass as well. I want to say that this was also leaked to come on everything. Or no, it wasn't leaked. It was announced recently. It's gonna come out everything. It's also coming to Switch. So this game is
Okay.
coming to Switch, but 3 as of now is not coming to Switch, which is kind of interesting. I know Zach, our boy Zach over there, friend of the show, he's upset about 3 not coming to Switch. But what are you gonna do? Well, what do you think? Does this game do anything to you? You didn't really play Persona 5, but
I mean, no, but I do like tactic games.
yeah,
I love the art style. I love the color. In the fact that it'll be Game Pass is at least something like, hey, I'll get it for Game Pass, and then and go from there.
yeah.
I feel like this is definitely a perfect one to port over to Switch.
It
You
kind
know,
of looked like Mario Rabbids or like XCOM type tactics,
yeah,
honestly.
it did. And Mario Rabbits was not a horrible tactics game.
Yeah.
I just think the rabbits are super annoying.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything about them that's funny. I feel like they're trying to be like, Despicable Me's like minions,
Yeah.
but they're not as funny as them.
Well, speaking of
Um,
Rabbit, no, we're going later. Later, we'll talk about Rabbids.
but yeah, so I think this looks pretty good. I think if I'll play it on Game Pass, if it catches my thing there, I would probably, if it comes out on Switch, buy it and play it on Switch because then I can just play it before I go to bed.
Yeah, I would recommend. I don't know about the anime. I have not watched the anime for Persona 5. I heard it's very memeable. So I don't know how good it is for you to watch that instead of playing the games. Like, um, quick tangent here. Persona 3, the movies, there's 4 of them. They are excellent. If you really don't want to play the game, watch the movies. You'll be perfectly fine. And you will experience everything because it's 4 movies telling a whole game. Persona 4, kind of yes, kind of no. I think it's a good anime overall. The first Persona animation, and you can get through it, and you should have fun. Persona 5 anime looks like trash, and it just wasn't designed right. And I only watched maybe 2 episodes of it, and it looked bad. The OVA, which was a different art studio, looked a lot better because there was an OVA that came out before Persona 5, and it was kind of like one of the random like side quest things. It was really really good. It's actually what made me want to play Persona 5, but like the regular show itself is bad. So unfortunately for you or for other people who don't really want to play Persona 5 and get right into this, you probably can, but you're probably missing out on a lot.
Right.
And there's no really easy way for do that. I can't just say like, oh, just watch the anime because I don't know. I just from my experience, it looked really bad. and it was bad. So
I don't remember where it was, but the anime was somewhere, and it was on my list to watch.
it was
Maybe it was Netflix.
on for Persona 5. It was on Funimation, I think, for a while.
It was somewhere where I don't know. I remember seeing it somewhere. I don't know
Hulu,
where.
maybe.
Maybe it was Hulu. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it was on my list to watch, and I just never got to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I always download because I own 5, and I'm like, I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna get into it, and I never just have the time to do it.
I really like 5 of I don't like it as much as the others. But Vanilla 5, I had a fun time. It just wastes your time a lot. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of just wastefulness in that. Supposedly Royal, like, it's longer, but there's better scenes and stuff to take your time and have fun with it. Um, but yeah, if you're really just wanting to get into it and you don't have a whole lot of time, I'd say probably just play vanilla. But um, I don't know. It's up to you. Just don't play. Just play Persona 3. Just play Persona 3 and just wait for that because it's gonna be excellent and it's gonna be game of the year. Um, Sea of Thieves, Monkey Island. As soon as I saw the Lucasfilms thing, I was like, "What is this?" And then we saw Sea of Thieves, and I immediately thought of Monkey Island. So that's what it is. Sea of Thieves had a crossover with Pirates of the Caribbean last year, I think it was.
yeah,
So now they're having Monkey Island crossover. So I think that's pretty cool. I've never played Sea of Thieves. I think we should play Sea of Thieves sometime. I think that'd be a fun thing to do since it's an
yeah.
online thing. And maybe we could
I
stream
mean,
that.
it's on Game Pass,
Yeah, exactly.
so
Yeah,
we should try it.
yeah, for sure. Flight Simulator looks awesome. I love Flight Simulator. It's one of those games that I download on Game Pass and just occasionally turn on. I'm horrible at it. I just like looking at everything and just flying around.
Didn't they last year? Didn't they have like one of the ships, a couple of the ships from Halo?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might have to download it because I've always wanted to fly one of those.
Yeah.
Um, and just kind of see. And I always see these videos of people doing it. I may have to try it now. I mean, I've watched the first Dune halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm awful, uh, but I know the second part is coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was really cool. I always think Flight Simulator does really well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. This might have been one of the first things I showed, the Hellblade 2, Senua saga. It's coming next year. There's a trailer again. There's a little bit more gameplay for once because like the previous trailer that was gameplay felt like it was still a cutscene, whereas this felt more like actual gameplay. But yeah, like the actress came out and talked a bit, and then they're like, "Yep, it's coming out for PC and X and S next year." Ryoga Gotoku, Infinite Wealth, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, 2024. This was a surprise. I didn't expect this to come out or be talked about so soon. I knew that we were gonna see the Kiryu game at some point that we talked about earlier. I didn't expect that to see that at Games Fest. And yeah, I didn't expect to see this at all. This is 8. So this is officially 8. They did not say it, but when you look at other things, they say like, nope, this is 8. But yeah, no, it was a fun little trailer, just fun censorship things. But yeah, Ichiban, I forget his last name, his actual name. But like, yeah, he just wakes up on a beach in America. I think it's Hawaii he was at. Which would make sense in Japan and Hawaii, like they're very friendly and people like that. Japan really likes Hawaii nowadays. It seems like that's just like a thing. But yeah, he wakes up on shore and he's just naked. Yeah, it says Hawaii. And so like there's just fun little things with like a crab walking along with him, or they do the Evangelion thing where like there's like a suntan thing and they pull it, and then there's like another suntan thing like even smaller, like censoring his stuff. But yeah, no, like I'm excited. It's interesting to hear because it is the Japanese version, so like he is talking in Japanese and everyone else is speaking English around him. no gameplay or anything, just called Infinite Wealth. It's coming out next year at some point. Fallout 76, we got like a little thing about that. Commercial, honestly, like a singing commercial. Atlantic City is the new expansion. It's coming out soon. I feel like now that Fallout 76 has been out for so long, I think I should actually give it a chance now.
They fixed a lot.
Like I remember Spencer was really big into it.
Oh, he had a lot of hours into it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do decide to play it, we should play together. Because then we could start at the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Game Pass thing. So there was so many problems at the beginning, and I feel now it's getting better. And they gave a lot of free stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. So I'm interested in it for sure now. That has been a while. So Path of Goddess, Capcom revealed this. It's an action-focused game with horror themes and aesthetics. I don't remember this game. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember.
I don't either.
I'm just gonna click it.
I feel like when this, I've been sick, and so when this whole thing was going on, I must have fallen asleep like 3 times during it, and it wasn't because it was boring. It's just because I was like totally sick. So
let's see. This is why I forget about it, because it's very generic. Yeah. Okay. That's what it is. I don't like
they're gonna do that. They should just do another Onimusha.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. They talked about this in the Capcom thing. Later. Banner Saga creators reveal Towerborn. Towerborn is a co-op adventure game in an ever-changing world. It's coming out 2024 for Game Pass. Still Wakes the Deep had like a little trailer here. It's coming out next year. I don't know. That's all I really have for that. Dungeons of Hinterberg. It's coming out next year as well. It has a nice art style and everything.
Yeah, I like
graphics.
the art style on that one.
Yeah, 2024 Game Pass. Yeah, I'm just kind of go fast since we still have a lot to do. Elder Scrolls. There's a new thing here. Shadow over Morrowind. New expansion. June 20th, so very soon. City Skylines 2 coming to Game Pass this fall. Let's see, it's coming October 24th, so that's fun. Don't Nod has this new game called Jasant. It's a climbing game. It's Don't Nod Studios though, so it's interesting to see something that isn't Life is Strange. But it's very colorful and stuff, so it looks different. So I'm interested to see how this goes for them. But yeah, we don't really know much. It just looks like a climbing game, honestly.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like it just was like he was climbing. Yeah. So
okay, so I thought we had more, but that was it for Xbox.
And the Starfield stuff I thought was the stuff I liked the most.
Oh yeah, that's true. We didn't talk about Starfield since it's not in this thing.
No, so they did a whole thing afterwards where they showed gameplay. They showed gameplay. They showed a lot of that. To me, it felt like Mass Effect.
Yeah,
it really did.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is like you can like in space, you can attack another ship, and then you could board that ship. And if you kill everybody on that ship is now yours.
Yeah.
And so you could have like a ton of ships. You could sell it. My only fear is this going to be one of those ones where it's like, oh, there's all this stuff we're going to do. You do all this stuff, and then you get it, and you're like, oh, it's coming. It's not yet. You can't do everything you saw in the trailers.
Mm-hmm. No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Now No Man's Sky came back and said, look, we're sorry, we'll fix it. And No Man's Sky turned out to be one of the most popular games in that
But
genre.
also, No Man's Sky is it's a game by like 20 people at first compared to
Yeah,
this, which is like a big old Bethesda game. Yeah, this game gave me No Man's Sky vibes. Like, I mean, it had the mining laser thing from No Man's Sky. I know like they didn't really create that per se, but like No Man's Sky was really like the first game to really have something like that, in my opinion.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it reminds me a lot of No Man's Sky, Max Effect, and like Eve Online, where it seems like at any moment like something's gonna take over you and like you're just gonna lose all progress or whatever.
yeah. And I
Um,
love the shooting mechanics and
yeah,
that. I did not watch the whole thing because
yeah,
it was like an hour long.
yeah. There's so much.
But I did get to see gameplay. I got to see that. This will be a Game Pass
Yeah,
game. Did they announce a date? I don't think they did.
September
No, they
12th
did.
or something.
If we hit that date, I would be surprised. I don't think we're gonna hit it.
I think we are. I really
Uh,
think we are. And it is 30 frames. They have confirmed that it's 30 frames. The reasoning for their 30 frames is that they care more about fidelity than right now, and they didn't want like a lot of pop in and pop out of their graphics and all of that, because on the back end for this game there seems to be like a lot of stuff happening and stuff. So I get it to a degree. It's still kind of annoying how like a game that's made for new consoles is still not even 60. It's not even 1080p 60. It is
yeah,
4K 30 locked, or um, whatever the middle between those two is. But yeah, it is unlocked frame rate on PC though. So if you want to play on PC, you can, if you want all those frame rates and stuff. But yeah, for them, they just felt like it was 30. This isn't really like a Redfall scenario, because the difference between that and this is that Redfall lied. Redfall said it was 60 and then it wasn't, right near the beginning of their launch. And then also, another reasoning is that Redfall just wasn't a finished game,
no,
whereas this is, for the most part, I feel. There was a quote from, I think Todd Howard it was, where, or maybe it was someone else, but they said if it is done, like this game is done, they said, Starfield is, and they said if this game released today or that day or whatever, it would be the least buggy game Bethesda has ever released on launch. um
yeah.
but they are still, working on things, just making sure it isn't fully buggy and stuff. Like they're just polishing things until September. So
And that's where they need to be, and to get it done right. Um, and we'll have to wait and see what it looks like when it comes out. I mean, I'm gonna play it on my PC. I have discovered with Xbox, because I do have a Series X, I play more on my PC.
yeah.
Just because for me it's convenient. I can come in here and play. I can like watch something as I play.
Hmm.
My PC can handle like streaming and playing at the same time. So we'll have to wait and see. That was their show. I thought it was okay. Everyone is like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best show." And I heard, and I hate to use kind of funny all the time, but a lot of the kind of funny guys were like, maybe people were like, "This is the best show" because Sony's show was so bad.
Yep.
And then Summer Game Fest came out, was a great show. So like that hype was built.
Hmm.
I thought it was okay. I don't think it was like the best I've ever seen of Microsoft. I felt there was a lot of stuff missing that they could have talked about. They could have talked about more with Halo, what their
Halo's
plans
dead.
are with it. Yeah.
Halo's dead at this point. You gotta know. They don't
Yeah.
care about Halo at this point.
Well, in 343, they just had a massive layoff.
Yep.
And so I get it, but they're still, there's still, I will tell you this. I think my son's one that told me, maybe it was you that told me. Um, there are more people playing the Halo Anniversary Edition that came out for Xbox One because they have the multiplayer on there. There are more people playing that multiplayer than
Then
they are
Infinite.
playing Infinity,
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
and which is crazy. But we haven't heard anything about a new Gears of War. We haven't heard anything. So, and I know that right now that they were having a lot of problems with their acquisition.
Yeah.
With
They still are currently.
yeah, they're still fighting that. Uh, and to be honest, the Xbox is not sold super well.
Hmm.
And so maybe this is just kind of like, hey, this is what we got going on, and I think they're banking on a lot of these. Starfield looks great. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm excited to play it, and they had some couple ones in there, but and I was glad they didn't say, hey, this is the same game you just saw on PlayStations. That's gonna be ours.
Yeah.
We already know they're gonna be on there. Show new stuff. I do feel like they did have an opportunity to like do a slam dunk and even just show us something from something they are working on now, or something along those lines, and they didn't. But it still was okay. I still think it wasn't as good as Summer Game Fest, but it was good.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was better. I mean, I think it was about the same, honestly, as Summer Games Fest. Um, if Persona wasn't leaked by an Atlas social media person by themselves, I think we'd be speaking very differently about this. I think it would be really hype. The Tactica thing, like, I don't really enjoy tactics games or Persona 5 as much as the next person, but like that's still a hype thing. Persona 3 Reload getting that actual confirmation that it exists is awesome, and the project fantasy, whatever it's actually called, Metaphor Re Fantasio or whatever, that is a big thing there. And I want to say that one was a Game Pass game as well. I have to check, but I know for sure Persona 3 is, and so was the Tactica game. So those are huge for me personally. So that's why I think this kind of is bigger, but also this game, this showcase along with Summer Games Fest is it didn't overstay its welcome again. Like it
Yeah,
very much just like did things, boom, boom, boom. We had some people on talk a bit about whatever they had, and then it kind of just went away. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I think the presentation was very well. It was very good, and I think that's why this uh, that's why I think it's just as good as the other.
yeah. Now we have two more to talk about. I know you guys have everybody's been on and listening, and you're like, man, it's a long podcast, but we wanted to get everything in one. So let's jump into Ubisoft. I'm using IGN again. The good news is they actually showed gameplay of Star Wars Outlaw, which I loved. I loved the gameplay. It wasn't just like run in and start shooting everybody. There was stealth mechanics. She got to use her little dog thing to kind of help with things. It was almost like she tried to avoid as many fights as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was kind of nice. I liked, you know, that. I think the cool part for me is when she was on the speeder.
Mm-hmm.
That was super cool. She reminds me of like a Han Solo
Yeah.
in that aspect. So I was super excited about that. I personally did not watch Ubisoft. I actually saw IGN's like 13 or 15 minutes play of the game. I loved it. So far, this has been my one of my big ones in my list.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought this game looked great. I will be purchasing this game, no problem.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I think that I'm seeing the actual gameplay and stuff, which is what I wanted from the previous thing. Was very good, and I am not disappointed. It still looks worse comparatively between the actual cinematic trailer versus this, but I think
Yeah,
it still looks really, really good. Um, there were some people talking about on online and stuff talking about like, do you think that this game was originally Beyond Good and Evil 2 and then they just made it Star Wars? Because Beyond Good and Evil 2 kind of disappeared. It's very, very similar to this.
mhm.
And yeah, but now we have Star Wars Outlaws with a Star Wars IP instead.
They also showed her fighting against stormtroopers and looked to be either the ship or the Death Star, and they were newer stormtroopers. Well, they were the classic series.
Yeah, this
So
takes place between 5 and 6, right?
yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, this was a super exciting game. You know what was an exciting game? Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Okay, so I watched the new Avatar. I'm gonna get a lot of hate. The movie was okay.
I didn't see it.
It's 3 hours long. I'm gonna warn you now.
I'll just watch it on HBO. I think it's where it's at now.
It's on Disney. Here's another thing. It was weird. This is a tangent. So it released the same day on Max as it did on Disney.
Okay, that's interesting because Max
That's
is like advertising like crazy. Hey, we have it. Hey, we have it. And Disney hasn't told me anything.
Yeah, like, why would you do that? Why would you allow someone to take your movie and release it the same day on another streaming app that you're competing against?
Yeah, I don't get
That's
that.
I don't know. So we actually watched it on um Disney just because I have less problems with Disney now
Yeah.
and I could get the same level the whole time.
Hmm.
It was it was okay. I don't I know everyone's like, "Oh, well, and it made billions of dollars." Yeah, I think people just wanted to see a second Avatar. It was like more of Avatar, and it was weird, and it was more of the tail things and tingly things. So, uh, so doing a game around it, I don't see it. I still think the graphics don't look very good.
Hmm.
Um, it's funny because like IGN says the gameplay reminded us of Far Cry. No, no, stop. Um, how dare you compare Far Cry to this? That's bull. Uh, so they showed this. They showed so this one's coming out. This is finally coming out December 7th, kind of like James Cameron releasing these movies.
Well, James Cameron popped up on this for a little bit in talks.
Of course
And
he did.
yeah, he was just like, "Hey, I hope you love Avatar because we like it too. Play
Man
some
with the big
Avatar."
he's got such a giant ego. Uh
And all the Avatar movies, like yesterday or today or something, just recently all got delayed again. Like
Shocking.
even further. Like the last one isn't coming until like 2031.
Yeah, it's so he won't even be alive when that comes out. I don't think they'll get that far. I think they'll stop it. Funny Tad, I was at a party this weekend and we were talking about Avatar, and then someone's like, it comes from the man that created Titanic. I said Titanic, I don't think was a good movie. I think it was way too long. Um, it should have been as long as it is. I like Leonardo DiCaprio, but that is definitely not on my top list of his movies.
Hmm.
And I said, we watched Avatar before that, and I said it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't like it didn't give me the vibes of um, Avengers Endgame, but it was epic and it was what it was, and it was more blue people naked running around. So,
Yeah, thinking
um,
back to old Avatar, I've only seen it twice. The very first one, I saw it both in theaters. And after that, I never thought of it again.
why am I like the crazy one though? And I said, it's okay. It's not great, and then people were like, I remember one time getting in an argument when I worked at Suncoast. This is how long, not Suncoast. I worked at some place that sold movies, and they were saying that Avatar was better than Star Wars. And I was like, that's enough to get you punched. Okay. We don't do that. And James Cameron's a genius. I go, James Cameron is good at salesmanship. That's what he's
Hmm.
good at. Because here's the thing is the other studios that were going to do this didn't want to do it. They're like, we're not doing these films. And Disney's like, we'll do it.
Yep.
And they've made their money back. I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't think they did, but I think they made some money back.
They probably have from the parks because there's the Avatar stuff now in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, and so I just don't like. It's so funny because my wife's like, so basically, this is like Columbus, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about it.
Yep.
It kind of is. Enough with that tangent. So they actually did show more gameplay of Prince of Persia, um, launching on January 18th, 2024.
Yep.
Gotta talk about that. Assassin's Creed Mirage Direct Combat is a backup solution. So they showed this more. I'm gonna be one of those people. I just think they need to stop doing Assassin's Creed games. I mean, I played a little bit of Valhalla and I liked it because it wasn't like sneaking around. It was like, you know,
Yeah.
Vikings killing each other with axes and stuff. Uh, I just don't see these games profiting like they used to. And this is not like a series like Halo or you know like some of the games we have like so many coming out every other year. I
Hmm.
just don't see this as a profitable franchise anymore.
It is. It is though. Like like people love Assassin's Creed, especially because it doesn't focus on the animus anymore. It's just you are in the past and you're just playing a game in the past. Um so like Odyssey, Origins, and Valhalla did very very well, and they were the few where they were very different. They were more RPG and all of that. And then now this one's coming out, and it's very much the first one again. The first and the second one. So people, there are people who have missed this version of Assassin's Creed, so this is who that's for. And then the new people who have played Assassin's Creed, the newer ones are gonna try to get into this, and they're gonna hate it. So like you're gonna probably get back the people who played Assassin's Creed up to, I would say, Revelations or 3 or whatever. Those people, you're probably gonna get them back to play this one since it's more akin to like the older versions. But um I don't know, Assassin's Creed still does well enough. It's just a matter of um what's next. I'm interested in on the Japanese one that they announced.
Yeah, I will be interested in seeing that because to me, with the character of what Assassin's Creed is, it seems like more of a Tenchu game,
Mm-hmm.
which we've not had forever.
Yeah.
You know, and Tenchu was not like, you can't just run around and start fights with people. Your goal was to like sneak up on people and kill them quietly.
Yeah.
So this game actually comes out October 12th. And I always think the trailers look good.
Yeah.
You know, so Assassin's Creed Nexus features the return of a classic assassin. So this is a VR game. So here's my thing. I think I could not play Assassin's Creed in VR because I would totally throw up. Just
Yeah.
all the running and jumping, and I would totally
Well,
get sick.
even it's not VR, but Mirror's Edge makes me sick because
Oh my
it's
gosh.
it's a first person, game
Yeah,
where you see the arms moving and you're moving all like this. Like it, yeah, that game just makes me. I love it, but it makes me sick. But yeah, no, Assassin's Creed VR. That's a big old sick.
yeah. They're looking to the game is coming to Meta Quest 2. There's no release date. Assassin's Creed Codename Jade is a mobile game. They're doing a public testing. You can actually do everything with your character. You can even like fully customize them. It comes between the Chinese Qin Dynasty and between the events of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins. There's a public test coming out this month. This one was kind of cool. So the Crew Motorfest arrives this September. I actually liked the Crew because you literally could set your GPS and drive from Vegas to wherever else,
Yeah,
and it would take you that long. It
yeah,
literally would. Well, I mean, if you have that Lamborghini there and you're going like 200 miles an hour, you
yeah,
know. The only thing I didn't like is like one of the kids got on one time and then they started playing my game, and you could only have one file, and it messed my game up. They messed with my car and everything, so I stopped playing it. But I liked the Crew games. I thought they were different.
hmm
Um, so this one here, you can control bikes, boats, and aircraft as well. I don't think they're bad games. I think this one's kind of cool. Uh, I liked the trailer, so we'll have to see. It's very much like an arcade driver, like Forza,
hmm
but with more things.
yeah,
And you literally could just. And the crazy thing is you could drive to Indiana in it.
yeah.
Um, this one I was actually super excited about. Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, gets a trailer. It seems like it's like a bunch of different stories. They showed the Frog Assassin's Creed thing, which looked really cool. It's like an anime. It looked really really cool. The only thing that's crazy is like with Netflix.
hmm
If they start charging people more, I won't have Netflix. And I
Too
pretty
bad
should have.
they're already doing that right now. I watched
Yeah,
my last show on Netflix. I finished it. I binged it when it came out last Friday, and then I am washing my hands of
I
Netflix.
haven't got the message yet that it's
I
going
didn't
in.
get the message. My younger sister did. Even though this is even my Netflix, it's like my parents' Netflix in where they're at. And so, but yeah, over here, like I didn't get the message because it still thinks I guess it thinks that I am the main hub for some reason, even though I've never paid for it here
Yeah.
at least, or I've never paid for this account. I used to pay for my own until quite a while ago, but like,
Well,
yeah.
and I think it's gonna be different because they did say that they've seen an uptake in some of their numbers, but the number is 899, and so um, yeah, and so this is gonna come back. This is gonna come out later this year, so I'm
Mhm.
guessing like December, maybe November. I thought this looked really cool. I love when they do animes where it's a whole bunch of different stories in there.
Yeah, this on the stage, I believe this was the one where Adi Shankar came out. Like the guy who's done like the Power Rangers YouTube, like in real life YouTube videos, or he helped do Castlevania, like the Castlevania anime cartoon on Netflix. So like, yeah, it's in good hands. But he was like dressed up like in Blood Dragon like attire. It was awesome.
That's awesome. X Defend comes this summer, open beta next week. It's like a free to play first person shooter. They're gonna do a couple open sessions here, more factions, more weapons. Um, Not one I've really got into. Skull and Bones closed beta comes
This
this
is
August.
horrible. Yeah, you.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw this. It was
I
just.
didn't.
It was them singing like a sea shanty, and
Yeah,
then them just seeing like closed beta.
yeah, it was dumb. Uh, I'm just not really into that game. Like, I want to play the Microsoft version one just because
Mm-hmm.
it seems more fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, they showed Tom Clancy's Division's Resurgent. It's coming this fall. Looked really cool, and then I found out it was a mobile game.
Yep.
The fall, and then they did like a sizzle reel of reveals of Jet Set and Halo crossovers
Yep.
for stuff, which was like, I mean, that's cool, but yeah. So that was the Ubisoft Forward show. It was kind of short, which we knew it was going to be short. Um, and yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. 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 It wasn't horrible. Like there are definitely some interesting things in here. That's weird. Did it not? Oh wait, maybe that's in the sizzle reel. Yeah, Rabid Sparks of Hope. Yeah, they showed it's still not in here, I guess. They showed a tiny bit of the Rayman thing for the new Rabbids, Mario and
Oh,
Rabbids. Because there's a new DLC with Rayman in it. That's weird that they just didn't mention that in here. They kind of did here. But yeah, no, it was fine. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. I've seen worse presentations.
and they're not a big studio with like a ton of different things, so we
Yeah.
knew it wasn't gonna be very big. Um, and, when we talk about Capcom's was they actually announced on their social media like this is what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, they do that every year and somehow we're still disappointed.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. I think it was exactly what I pictured it was gonna be.
Yep.
Um, let's jump into the very last one here. So Capcom's, and I gotta clarify some stuff once we get to it because I've read stuff later and I was like that was dumb.
Mhm.
But when we get to it, so Dragon Dogma got gameplay and a deep dive trailer. I remember playing this on PlayStation 3 and I loved it.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it was fun. Um, um, I think it's gonna do really well, and it seemed like this one's more of an open world. It's coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and in Steam, which is nice.
Mhm.
It looked fine to me. I think people that are wanting like that type of stuff and not have, they want that kind of like open world stuff. I think that's a perfect game for them. I mean, I think it looked
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah, for sure. The problem with this Capcom thing, and we'll go through it here. There isn't much to talk about, thankfully.
No,
Um, it was just pretty much the trailer that we already saw, but
yeah, it
just
was.
but just someone talking over it again.
Yeah, it pretty much was. Um, so, but I still think it did its part. So Pragmata delayed indefinitely. Uh, why even show it and say what you're gonna say? So
Yeah,
basically, this is what I was talking about. We saw this last year. I want to say.
I think we saw it at the very first PS5 thing.
Maybe, yeah. So basically, they said it's been delayed from 2023 to an unknown year. So
Yeah.
we don't even know when. I, I don't have no idea. I think um as my dog's making noise. I think when you make comments like this and you do like, oh, we're gonna show you this or whatever, don't if you're gonna do what you're doing here, don't show it. Don't bring
Hmm.
it to the show.
Yeah.
No one is seriously asking about this. I thought the trailer looked really cool the first time. It was weird,
Yeah.
but you know, I think it was one of those things where it was like, okay, so you're gonna talk about it and it's no longer in existence.
Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of how it was. But
Yeah. Um, these ones were really cool. So Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy is coming in 2024. I have played these games a long time ago. So it's Ace Attorney 4, 5, and 6 are getting HD remasters. Um, this includes Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Dual Destinies, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. The trilogy is coming to Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC in early 2024.
yeah.
I I like these games. I
Yeah.
think they're very fun. They're very unique. I will be buying it on Switch though. I think it's like
Yeah.
the perfect compilation for
Yeah,
Switch.
definitely. I have the first trilogy on Switch. This game is interesting, or this trilogy is interesting because they're HD remasters. 5 and 6 are 3DS games, so you don't really have to do much. But 4 was a DS game, so it was still 2D and stuff. So like I believe they gave them like 3D models and stuff. So I think they
Yeah,
remade that game from the ground up. So that's really
the
cool to
trailer
see.
looked great,
Yeah.
and you cannot go wrong with like this or like I don't know it wasn't Capcom, but when they showed the Professor Lighton stuff,
Hmm.
that stuff I think is always good. I never got a chance to play all the Professor Lighton games, but the ones I did play, I think I played the first one. I loved it because it was something different and unique. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's even like a crossover game that's expensive now between Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, and Leighton. So yeah,
so the first one of this a physical release or no, or is it digital only?
it's probably digital only because I think that's how the others were.
Okay. Um, so I'm excited about that. Uh, X Primal gets a new trailer, roadmap, battle pass revealed. And we already kind of talked about them before showing Ryu and Guile
Hmm.
as that. This was just more of that. I think the game looks great again. I will be playing on Game Pass. I'll be playing on my PC. Um, it looks good and everything there. Now we'll see how it actually plays. So um, it releases on July 14th, um, but they're doing another beta June 16th to June 18th. So we'll have to wait and see where they that gets at. But I I think it looks fun.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the battle pass. I don't have, obviously I don't have a problem with battle pass. I bought every Halo battle pass.
Hmm.
But I think this looks like a fun, just if you get a group of people, I think it'd be a fun game. The Ghost Trick demo is now available. This was one before that they showed that I said, "Oh my gosh, this looks so much fun! It looks like a great game." Um, the remaster it comes out on June 30th. I loved when they had the creator come out. It was so quirky and
Hmm.
very, very cool. This game looks really fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play this one.
Yeah, I played it on DS. I love this game. It is a very very good puzzle game. Um, Good story as well. So I'm looking forward to trying it again on future things. Yeah, it's for DS. I actually played it on iOS because there was a time where a lot of the Capcom games were being ported to old iPhone and iPod Touch at the time. So like I even have, I don't think it's playable anymore, but I bought like the Ace Attorney trilogy before like the Switch even existed. I bought it on my iPhone, and so it was split. So then like the bottom, like it was like a like DS. So like there was a top screen and a bottom screen like on the iPhone. And then same thing with Ghost Trick, where it was kind of like a touchscreen only game because you really only just need a touchscreen for that since it's a puzzle.
Yeah, it looks fun, and it's gonna be on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. You know what? By the way, this is the second one. I think it's crazy they're still putting stuff on PS4 and Xbox One. Um, that is crazy that those numbers are still there
If
for
things
those.
are compatible, backwards compatible, and the game doesn't really force you to, the game isn't that intensive heavy where you have to put it on a bigger disc, then why not just release it PS4?
Right. I guess that makes sense.
Because it
This
might
one
be
we
more
already.
expensive to do a bigger disc.
Yeah, that could be true. Um, this one we kind of already talked about. It's the Path of the Goddess trailer.
Yeah.
Mega Man X Drive Offline coming to Steam, iOS, and Android. This one was interesting to me. So, so it's a mobile game.
Yep.
Um, and so basically, it's coming from this tier. You play as Mega Man X and other characters from the franchise, including characters that have never been playable before in a brand new franchise. Familiar bosses and over 900 playable stages. And I know, like I said, like I know this is like a mobile game,
Yeah.
um, but it's gonna be it's gonna be on Steam. So
Yeah.
I was when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And then I was like, kind of discouraged being iOS, but I still think like I'd play it on Steam. You know?
It's a gotcha game though. It's another one of those like, I don't know how much different it is now that it's an offline version of it. But originally, like, a lot of these games were like not pay to win, but like you're rolling for certain things, so you might be limited to how much you can do per day.
Yeah. But God, I love Mega Man. I'm not good at it, but I love it. Uh,
Yeah.
I actually just finished two on almost did it PS4 a couple months ago.
Hmm.
Um, which by the way, Wily's Castle and two is awful.
Yeah, but two is probably the easiest game out of all of them.
Yeah, I couldn't get through one because I got stuck on halfway through Wily's Castle and I didn't get it,
Well, because the
and I
Yellow
just kept
Devil is
just
awful in that game.
oh, it's that's where I was stuck. Is exactly that part there. Um, and so I own two and three on NES,
Hmm.
and now that I have an actual NES, now I may go back and play them. But it's so much easier playing those on the newer consoles because then you can save more.
Rewind feature, all that.
Yeah. Um, so I thought this looks really cool. Uh, I don't know if I really want to play it because I really want something. I was unfortunate because I did not get the new Mega Man game that came out because Amazon reserved it there and they were like, "Oh, we'll get it to you." I heard people are still waiting on that game from Amazon. Yeah, which is funny because I was in Walmart the other day and they have a ton of Metroid in there, like tons of copies.
Yeah.
So I'll wait. I'll get it eventually
Mm.
because I really want to play those games
Yeah.
portably.
They're excellent.
Yeah, and the PS4 version's everywhere. You can buy it right now, but I'd rather play it on my Switch
Yep.
because I could play it and then put it in sleep mode, go to bed.
Hmm.
You know, there. So wow, that was a lot. This
Too
is
much.
probably yeah, this is probably one of our second biggest shows besides the one we did with last week. But yeah, we wanted to kind of go through everything and make sure that we got everything to kind of talk about and our personal thoughts. Um, if you enjoyed this episode and you enjoy listening to us, we would love for you to hit subscribe. We are bi-weekly unless we have a special episode. We are on almost every place you would get your podcast from. We have the audio version that releases on Wednesdays, and then a video version that will release on YouTube on Fridays. We would love for you to go to any one of those places, whether it be YouTube, whether it be iTunes. Alex reminded me we're now on Pandora, which is hilarious because I filled out all that stuff months ago and we showed up there. So I must have done something right.
Yeah.
Um, on iHeartRadio,
Spotify.
Spotify.
Yep.
We would love for you to hit that subscribe button and just download our episodes every other week. There, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter. We would love to interact with you guys on there, at least Twitter for right now. We'll see how Twitter goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have anything else to say, Alex?
Actually, yeah. Twitter is a weird mess right now, but if you want to be, uh, if you are a content creator and want to be part of the show, if you're able to DM us on whatever. Otherwise, um, I don't know. Is our email public? Can people find that somewhere?
I don't know. I'll have to look and see. If it is, I will. I'll put it. I'll post it on there because I definitely think we should be. That's Alex makes a good point. We are looking to collab with a lot more content creators, even if you're not video game. If you do movies, you do something.
Yeah.
We would love to kind of. We've already collaborated with some people already. Yeah, hit us up. We
Yeah,
would love to hear it.
definitely hit us up anywhere you can. I know Twitter is a weird place, but if you follow us and you want to talk to us, yeah, we'll try to do something for sure. But otherwise, I mean, get at it.
Get at it.